Hi, good morning and happy Friday to you. It's looking like a better picture for the equity markets here in India at the end of the week. We've started with gains for the benchmark indices, and in fact, let me also take you through what's happening in the broader markets. That's also seeing gains, but they're lagging the benchmarks for once. And now, let me take you through the headline numbers first. Of course, the Nifty 50 is gaining about 0.5% or so, but it's still trading below the 18,000 mark, and the Sensex is holding comfortably above the 60,000 mark, at least for now. Now, the overarching situation building up into trade at the start today, you had the US inflation number, which everybody was looking forward to and which came in at a 3-decade high in October. It was expected to be elevated, so no surprises there, but really that is lending more credence to the argument that the US Fed is going to have to tighten monetary policy sooner rather than later. Already there has been a statement in terms of the rolling back of the stimulus that they have so far been undertaking. So that is happening. Usually what happens when there is a tightening of monetary policy is that yields head higher on bonds, and that in turn has an impact and downward pressure on equity markets. In the past, it has led to downward corrections in tech stocks, and that could be something to bear in mind in the weeks and months to follow. Now, in India, of course, we've started in the green, like I mentioned, and that's on account of a sentimental boost that came in from the Chinese stock markets that is panned out across Asia. Of course, we have our own factors affecting the Indian market. More international brokerages coming in and saying that valuations are a tad uncomfortable and they've downgraded their ratings on India. But closer focus on what's happening on the benchmarks. You have Tech Mahindra, HDFC Life, Hindalco from the metals pack doing quite well, and those are the stocks that are leading gains today. In fact, you have quite a few stocks that are gaining in trade today. Only about 7 stocks are losing in the start of trade today, as opposed to yesterday when those were the number of stocks that were gaining. So overall, of course, the market breadth looking quite strong. The stocks that are losing ground are Bajaj Auto, Tata Motors, SBI, IndusInd Bank, but not really too much. Bajaj Auto, of course, losing the most at 1.2% or so. From the broader markets, ICICI Prudential is looking good, 4.5% gains. Escorts, Jubilant Food, India Mart, Nalco from the metal pack doing quite well. In fact, the metals as a whole are the outperformers in trade today as well. And they're gaining about 0.7% as of now. IT is the other pack that is doing incredibly well. But I'll draw your attention to one more fact before I close, because Tata Steel came out with its earnings, and broadly a good set of numbers, but they're showcasing something that a lot of companies are currently facing, and that is input cost pressure that is affecting their margins. That was visible in Balkrishna Industries as well. So on the earnings front, certainly something to bear in mind. Raw material costs, inflation seems to be the overarching concern that a lot of people are facing. Whether or not price increases can be taking place is something that will determine the fortunes of these companies, at least in the short term. So bear that in mind and have a lovely weekend.